My question is, how do you graph y is greater than the absolute value of x plus 5 minus 3?
Awesome. All right, I will be happy to answer your question. I love graphing. I love everything algebra. So if you cut to my screen, I will show you how to do that. I have, forgive my kind of squiggly graph there, but that'll do the trick at least. When you are graphing absolute values, we know that our parent function for absolute values, or for something like this inequality that's given here, is the absolute value of x. The graph of that is the shape of a V with slopes of 1 and -1 on either side. So we're going to use that parent function to help us find the boundary of y is greater than the absolute value of x plus 5 minus 3. The plus 5 is telling us about a horizontal translation, saying that we're going to translate this graph to the left 5 spaces, and the -3 or the -3 is telling us about that we're going to move the graph down 3 spots. So we're going to start with our vertex. I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's -5, and then down 3. So here's where our vertex is going to be. And then we're going to graph absolute value just how it normally would look with that slope of 1. And then on the other side, -1. And then one thing that I didn't do is consider my greater than and less than. Because this says greater than and not greater than or equal to, we want to make sure that our boundary line is actually a soft boundary. So it's a dashed line rather than a solid line. If it were equal to, we would put a solid line. Now the last part about this is we have to get our shading down. And so to get our shading down, we look at what is actually greater than or less than. So our y is going to be greater than this boundary line that we just made. And so because of that, we are going to shade above that line. Let's see if I can get this here. So you cut to my computer screen and you can see it. So you would shade above that boundary line because y is going to be greater than this boundary line. So I hope that helps a little bit. And thank you so much for calling in that question. We really appreciate your questions.